Good morning, everybody. It's Tonic TZW, and you might have caught me on live stream last night with Noriko, and we took the Z-46 out a couple of times and had absolutely abysmal matches in it. They were the worst matches I think I've ever played in a destroyer, and I think I said that at the time. I couldn't believe how bad they went. So this morning, early on, I made myself a cup of tea and I jumped online for a couple of quick games just to take the Z-46 out and get a bit of a feel for it, because I've mostly been playing the Summoner at tier 8, and I really do like the Summoner, and I haven't got the Japanese destroyer yet, but I think the Summoner is probably my favourite tier 8 destroyer at the moment. But not to put the Z-46 aside, given the amount of credits that we spent on it and the amount of global XP we spent on boosting it. I think this map is Land of Fire, and I know that on this starter cap there's a little niche here that you can squeeze in and take or contest the cap without being spotted from the other side. Now, I did have a look behind me and I saw that there was a Worcester there, and I'm thinking, brilliant, I've got a rapid firing radar cruiser there behind me, so if we do get on this cap and get contested, he can light up the destroyer and we can dispatch it and give ourselves an early advantage. Now, I look behind and I see that he's moving to use the island for cover, which is fine because he's got quite a high trajectory on his shells, and he should still be in a position to support me. So I nudge out, and as I'm nudging out, I'm shortly going to turn on my sonar, because that's a 5K sonar. And in fact, is it a 5K sonar or is it 4.4? No, it's 5. We get the Z-23 spotted, and we start to get some fire on him, thinking he's spotted. The rest of the team are shortly going to be onto him, but he turns out of it. And I back up into this niche using the corner of that island for cover, because the next thing that I'm expecting down here, and there they appear, is torpedoes. Now, he's only fired one salvo, so I'm very wary about moving out. I'm asking the Worcester for support again, because after these torpedoes I can't see anything else, and so I'm going to push the cap because we are no longer contested. But that Z-23 is moving around the cap, and that means he's going to try and get torpedoes into this side of the rock probably. So knowing that I've got the Worcester behind me, knowing where he's positioned, I think we can get this Z-46 out of the game. And I'm hoping and praying really that he's going to have my back, and that's not something that you can always rely on in this game, is for somebody to have your back. We get the Z-46 spotted again, and we're actually going to start taking a bit of a risk here, because we go guns on it. Now, one of the things that I don't like about the Z-46 is that the majority of your guns are on the rear of the ship, and that means you've got to give up quite a bit of broadside to get your guns on. I'm having a quick look around to make sure that I'm not in a position to be shot at from, I think it's a Friedrich de Grosser and a Bismarck at the back, well aware of their secondaries. The Sumner gets himself spotted, and you'll notice that across on that cap, everybody is shooting at that Sumner because they know how important it is to get the destroyer off the map. Meanwhile, I don't see any fire going in from our side of the map where that Worcester is. So at the moment, he's provided what appears to be no support whatsoever. Now the Z-23 is running, but he does take a torpedo to the stern, and we continue blind firing that little area where he was, hoping to land a kill shot and then move out, and we pick up a dev strike on the Z-46. Obviously I'd hit him earlier in the game. He'd used his damage control and didn't have anything to take care of that torpedo flood with. But we avoid his torpedo reload. We have the cap. A cap have pushed successfully. C cap had pushed successfully, but then red team with a Grosser Kurfürst, I think it is, and the Sumner there have pushed in and are trying to take that one back. So we are going to try and sort out Mr. Sumner. and we do for the second kill of the game. So play and position here, taking care of the destroyers early on, and that gives us an advantage now to push. Friedrich de Grosser and Bismarck realise that they have lost their destroyer screen now. They are now going to try and get away from us. And we are going to pursue, but we aren't going to go chasing them around the map like some destroyers do. And you'll see that in part 2, because I'm doing two videos on the Z-46 today, because I really did have to give myself a sanity check on this one, because I consider myself to be a decent destroyer player. It's certainly my favourite class of ship to play. But after last night's games, I thought, I can't be this bad. It's as simple as that. Now we see that Bismarck and FDG are heading in this direction. So as cowboys do, I'm going to head them off at the pass, and I'm thinking I can come through here. We can get something towards that GK. And then if they do turn up this way, we're in a position to their front to get more torpedoes on them. But one of those ships does take 3 torpedoes and 3 floods. Now I've already burned my smoke screen, because what I would love to do here is light fire on that FDG and just keep that damage ticking. But it isn't all about damage in this game, and I keep saying that to everybody. It is not how much damage you do. It is certainly in domination. It is controlling the capture points, because it gives you a significant advantage with the points ticking up. And you can afford to lose a couple of ships in the process of the game if you have control of the capture points. Now the FGG and the Bismarck are continuing this way. I'm going to push out a little bit further. The only destroyer left in the game, and this is one of the reasons why I did feel okay going out to try and slap these guys with some more torpedoes. The only destroyer left in the game is a Friesland. Now he doesn't have torpedoes, so I'm quite happy and quite confident that I can leave the other ships to their own devices and allow them to play their game, because the only thing that Friesland's going to be able to do is shoot at them. There doesn't appear to be anything else, I think, on the other side of the map with them at the moment. In fact, no, there we go. There was something close to B-cap, wasn't there? But the only way he is going to be able to do any damage is from a smoke screen, if he doesn't want to get focused down. And if he does that, he can't see anything if there's nobody else to spot for him. So I'm quite happy, as I said, to leave that Friesland out there on his own. He's no risk to me at the moment. And, we've got 1, 2, 3... capital ships out here that want to try and contest C-cap. Now the Worcester, from his position at the back of the map, and this is another thing that I picked up in this game, there's only 1 destroyer in the game. He doesn't have torpedoes, and yet blue team still are sitting back. They're using range, which is fine in some circumstances. But, I'm up here at the front, pretty much on my own, screening everything for them, keeping ships spotted, which is my job as a destroyer. And, if that Friesland was to come in and bump me on guns, now I'm lucky in that I know how far away he was, I don't feel that there's any ship here on the map that would be in a position to support me. And that's one of the main gripes I have about this game, is that there is a significant lack of team play. Everybody seems to be out for high scores. Everybody seems to be out for sinking the ships, and it's not what it's all about. I like to try and play for the win. I always look at the team sheet at the start. I'm looking for divisions. I'm looking for the ships that are in the same class as me that I'm up against. How do I perform against those? Have they got lots more torpedoes? Have they got sonar? Have they got radar? Are they faster than me? You know, um, it's all about understanding the game, and that to some people I know is going a little bit too deep into it. But if you understand the ships of your class that you're up against, then it gives you an advantage because you're able to play to your strengths and basically try and exploit their weaknesses. Now, I know this Bismarck has sonar, so I'm staying just outside of sonar range on it. And he's playing smart. He knows that there's a destroyer out here, and he's sort of twisting and turning. And well, I said I think my average on torpedo hits is 8%, and I think that's about where it should be, because you're not going to land every single torpedo. But every time that I fire a torpedo and sees them coming, he's having to turn, and that is putting him sort of more open on his broadside to the other ships of my team. Now we can see that the Worcester, and I think it's a Conqueror out there as well, are throwing a crap ton of fire down onto that Bismarck, and that's good because I'm going to, like here, sit right on the edge of sonar range. I do realize I dip into his 6Ks there, so I straighten up to move out. One of the things you've got to remember is if you're turning your ship, you are bleeding speed, and that's the same for any class of ship, and it takes time to get back up to speed. So he's taken a torp, he's taken a flood, he's got fires. I pop a shot at him because I think I've earned that kill given the amount of work that I've done on this side of the map so far. And it's only now, look, that, excuse me, that the only ship left in the game is a Friesland. It's a gunboat with no torpedoes, and it's only now that the team decide that they're going to close in. And, well, I don't know what they're going to do. They're all after the last kill. They're after the glory kill to end the game. Now I'm going to ping the map with the direction of the closest ship, which is obviously the Friesland. That Friesland, I think, realizes he doesn't stand a chance with a Worcester out here. I fire my guns to see if I'm within detection range of that Friesland, and I'm not, which means that he's way to the north of the minimap, and if anything, all he's done is turn and run. And, you know, it's going to drag the game out. But if you look, we contested the caps early, we dealt with the enemy destroyers, we've controlled 2 of the caps, which has meant that red team has, if they wanted a chance to win, they would have had to push in and push the caps, but they haven't been able to. And that has given us more than a 600-point advantage over the course of this game. There's still a minute 45 to play. I'm going to keep sailing out here. You know, I know there's no risk of torpedoes. I can sail in a straight line. I've got sonar and smoke available if he does pop up. You know, he's got sonar as well. May have a smoke screen left. But, you know, we're just going to sail. We're not going to spot him before the end of this match. It didn't even make any sense to go sailing across to A-cap to turn that because there wouldn't have been the time to do it in the time that was remaining. But cruisers, battleships, please do support your DDs on the cap. If they've got the destroyers spotted, get your guns on them and get them off the map. We finish with a lowly 98,000 and 3 kills, but we do get the caps. We finish top of the board, which is where I like to be when I'm in a destroyer. And, you know, like I said, I just had to sanity check myself after last night's game. But there is a part 2 coming up, and we're going to talk through that one as well and see how that game developed. So stay tuned and watch for the next one. And if you haven't done already, do hit that subscribe button. Take care and goodbye.